Hey everybody, I'm Scott Coventry and welcome to ZealZaddy. I'm the DM and storyteller of Mysts of... Oh, I don't think I need to have my computer speaker on. And I'm the storyteller of Mysts of Elixia. This is a D&D 5e campaign. We are on Season 1, Episode 8. This one is titled Bargains in Cold Blood. We play every Saturday at 8:30 p.m. That's Eastern Time. So you can do the calculations back, whether you're going when you go west. If you go east, I don't know what it would be if you're in England. I don't know. I think it's 6 hours ahead or something. So hopefully we won't run into that. Actually, that'd be really cool if we ran into that. So if you get a chance tonight, give us a follow. You can follow us at /ZealZaddy or at ZealZaddy everywhere. Twitch, YouTube, Patreon, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. The only one that's not that is Discord, which if you go down below in the About section, click on the Discord button, it'll take you over, and that's an invite to our Discord server, where sometimes at the end of sessions we go and chat a little bit. So if you're there and we see you, we'll talk. Before I get started, I want to let everyone know that we have a new player tonight, so we're going to let her introduce herself first before the rest of them. Her name is Tiffany. We're super excited to have a new player. Let's go to the screen with everybody, since that would be, good for everybody. And you're live. So Tiffany, say hi.
Hi.
And say more than hi.
So I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons for a number of years now. I run my own campaign. I run Dungeon Damsel campaign. We're on Twitter. I've been doing that for about a year, and I became interested in Zeal's campaign and reached out to him, and after a couple of conversations and mutually agreeing on what type of game we both wanted to have, I asked if I could join, and here I am.
Awesome. Let's let everyone else kind of walk around and say who they're... Oh, wait, who are you playing tonight?
So I'm playing Caradwyn Sagewind. She's a Furbolg, and I'm playing a Valor Bard. How much do you want me to reveal?
That's enough.
Okay.
I'd rather more be revealed in game. And then let's go to Morgan.
What's up, everybody? I am Mindflame Mondays, aka Morgan. I run a group of professional DMs who work locally, but we also run games online. You can check us out on mindflamemondays.com. I'm also a content creator. I have several things on the DMs Guild, including Children of Tiamat, Two-Headed Dragonborn. I'm about to release a new one on Monday. It is a monk subclass, which I hinted at earlier a couple days ago. And just to let you know, it is a psionic build, but Dylan can vouch for me that it is not like, oh, psionics. I think you will enjoy it. It is based off the UA psionic talent die system. So please check it out when it comes out on Monday and let me know what you think. So I'm here. I'm going to be playing Vezran Madrick, a wonderful wizard who has family issues. And I'm just excited to be here with all these wonderful people.
That's a nice way of putting it. Family issues. And let's go to Brandon.
I'm Brandon. I'm going to be playing Morcott von Amstel, cleric, who has less family issues.
Right. The issue of lack of family.
Yeah.
Both are equal value issues, by the way. All right, let's go to Dylan then.
Hi, I'm Dylan. I play D&D a lot. I am also a content creator. I have a subclass up on DM's Guild called Ranger Dragon Hunter Conclave. And it's a fun little subclass. It's only 2 pages long. It's free to download. You can donate if you want, but I would suggest checking it out. And tonight I will be playing Eslov, the Dragonborn Barbarian.
All right. So, would somebody like to give a recap of last week?
Make the new person do it. She knows everything that's happened.
Do your best.
Have like a sentence of what happened.
Let's hear it.
You want me to do it?
Well,
Who did it
we returned
last?
back to the city, right? We got back to the city.
Yep.
Kind of like we took Dylan to get his axe sharpened.
There was a kobold in there somewhere. I don't know where.
There's a kobold who was just really impressed to see you. I'm trying to think. It was just a lot that happened. And then we decided to head back to Phelan.
We also got the Wendigo head taxidermied.
Yes, we did.
Or
Well, not taxidermy. We got it caked in mud.
Taxidermied, yeah. We got it wrapped up nicely.
Yeah. When we returned back to Phelan, we spoke to the soul. Brandon's character, Morkant, had several books that are waiting for us to review. I was also reached out to. Vezran was reached out to by somebody who's been hunting him for the family, asking to speak. And we talked to the village elder, and he was kind of like shocked by the head. Didn't know what it was really, but took the information in stride, and then also offered our good friend Kian a job because he needed to go somewhere. And then we went to meet with my guy, and as we got to the tavern, you guys saw him. We chased him. Some people tried to take a couple shots at him. Luckily, nobody hit the guy, and we ended with me talking to the gentleman and a furball leaning in and about to say something to me.
That is exactly where we are. So this furbolg leans in with strength and emphasis, and she says,
So she actually will like grab you and turn you to look at her, and then like give you this really like intense stare and be like, elf, dragonborn, half elf, human, yes, I found you. I've been looking for you guys for a week. And she starts like pulling up all of these papers out of her bag. She's like, I hear you're studying the Ascension.
I'm gonna walk up to you. I want to like try and put an arm between you and Vezran and just stare at you. How tall are you, by the way?
7'2".
I look up at
doing
you.
that, real quick, why they're doing that and about to have this conversation, is that person you're talking to still there? Did he dip?
he just took off when he saw an opportunity.
Oh.
I didn't get a. Can I get like a chance
Let
to
him
run
know
after
I'll
him?
still be at the tavern that he asked to speak to us at.
Morkant, make me a perception check.
Perhaps we should have this conversation elsewhere.
We could have it
Not in the
anywhere.
middle of the street. But not in the street. Not everybody is going to understand why we're speaking about the Ascensions.
13, Scott.
I'm
You
sorry,
notice-
Islam, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Sorry.
I want to
So-
lean down to Vezran and ask, is
Okay.
it wise to just trust her enough to go somewhere with her right off the
That's why
bat?
we go back to the...
Kian goes,
the
that
place
guy's
where-
getting away. And then Meadow
Yes.
shows up behind with her dog. Were we following somebody?
We were until... what's your name again?
B. Oh, sorry. I'm Caratwin.
Until Caradwin here decided to speak with us. Apparently she's been looking for us.
Oh, yes. I was talking to Awok, and he told me that you guys have been studying the Ascensions. And I've been
Funny.
studying for 30 years, so I thought it'd be a good place to start.
And Arwen
Funny.
speaks out very quickly. I'm gonna go find where that guy went. And he takes off the direction the guy left.
Oh, Kian? Kian.
Yes, Kian. I mean Kian. Yes.
I was so confused for a second.
Yeah.
Who the heck is I thought I was forgetting an NPC or something.
All right. Well, find us back at the tavern. Let's go back there. It's at least a more public place, but we can still have private conversations there.
Sure.
I'm gonna walk behind you, Caradwin, the entire time.
I will walk behind you.
He's gonna, so like, she'll notice that you're behind her and just be like, right?
So, Eslov, this is one of the few people you've met that are bigger than you.
He knows. He's a little scared, but he's messed with things that are bigger than him before.
Sure.
And he's not too intimidated. but
Yeah.
he's certainly a little uneasy and distrustful, hence why he's walking behind her.
So what are you doing now? The rest of you?
Tavern, apparently.
Go back to the tavern we just at, where you can have a little bit of a private conversation while still in a public setting.
Go froth.
Yes, go froth.
Okay. So you head back that way, and it seems like as you're leaving the roundabout that you had caused a little bit of a disruption. People were, a lot of people stopped to kind of look at you when you came charging out after the other guy, crossbow pulled, all of that stuff. As you leave, you see them all start turning away. And Morkant, you notice that somebody has painted on the naming stone a symbol you recognize. The vine.
Hey, gentlemen, before we head back to the bar, take a look at the naming stone.
And you know that would be a blasphemous thing to do. Nobody paints or writes on it or anything. Matter of fact, even when you set up the holiday decorations, you wrap ropes around it to hold it so you're not actually marking it.
Oh.
That's odd. Kerwin, have you seen this symbol before?
And I'll walk over and see if I can rub it off.
Right now, Caradwin's in sort of a mild shock. She's just like, how dare anyone face this? She looks around really furiously. If I ever find out who does this.
Am I able to wipe the mark off?
When you get close and you start rubbing it, you realize it's probably some kind of a chalk or charcoal-y kind of stuff. So it can be wiped off.
Who has noticed this defacement has been gathering around?
No one else had noticed it.
Did I recognize the symbol?
You do recognize it. You're not sure exactly where, but it looks familiar. You'd probably have to go back through some of your notes, maybe.
Okay, so she'll mention that. I think I've seen it before, but I'd have to go through all of my notes to try to find it. So
make me an int check, please.
Me?
Yes, just you.
I haven't heard that in a minute.
Okay. Oh, okay, that's a 15.
You're pretty sure that it's one of the runes that you have been studying lately and you have seen somewhere on the island other than here. And you believe that you had seen information on it in a book called... can you remember the book? It was called... Hold on, I gotta find the book name. Where did I put that? On the Balance and Equality of Life, of All Life, by Calliope Matrilia, who is a philosopher.
Is that the same person that he's going to go see?
Yes.
Calliope what?
Matrilia.
I thought that was the same one. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. The name
It's okay.
had a thing there.
It's a pretty distinct
name. I want to touch a finger to the paint to try and... Is it paint or is it...
It's more like a chalky or a charcoal-y substance.
Okay. Let's see. Is it a material that I would recognize in any sense as being...
No. Not in particular. It could be any of a number of things. It doesn't seem permanent on there.
Where the marking was put on there, is there any shops or people that would be around this area frequent that perhaps we can talk to and see if they've seen somebody or ask them to keep an eye out?
It's the most frequented part of the city.
I have a question. If I've been looking for them for the past few week, would I have noticed this being defaced from one day to another? Okay.
Well, you would have if it was defaced yesterday.
Okay.
So
can I
it was not that.
assume it happened today?
Yes.
Okay. I don't remember seeing it yesterday, so it probably happened sometime today. just don't understand why anyone would do this.
Is there anything out of the ordinary within the square?
The square is bustling with activity all
Right.
throughout the day.
Does anyone in particular stand out? It's just, I guess, generally sketchy.
Yes, all of you.
Well, that's a given at any moment, Scott.
Nobody else stands out more than you stand out.
Fair enough.
Well, perhaps the barkeep knows something. They usually keep a good ear to the ground. You want to meet us there anyway, so we can speak more privily.
Well, let's go to for now, and we can always come back to this part of the town and ask those that work nearby to keep an eye out. We don't want people defacing the stone, especially with that symbol.
What interest do you have in the stone?
Oh, well, if I were to explain that, we'd have to take a couple hours to sit down, but really watered down, I'm an anthropologist, and I study the culture of the island, and
What's an anthropologist?
It's anthropology, and so she'll actually she'll switch to Draconic and speak to you in like beautiful fluid Draconic that if there's like an accent on Elixia of Draconic, she would have that one. She'll say it's basically the study of cultures and people, and I like to study the culture of Elixia, and I'm trying to find a common root for all of the languages, but I also want to find out more about these stones because they're everywhere and we've had them for a long time, so it seems like they're like an integral part of the entire culture.
He blinks with surprise as soon as you start speaking Draconic. And as
And
soon as you finish, he nods. Don't we all speak Draconic now?
I will quietly translate to Vezrin so he knows what's going on.
Right.
Then I'll lean over to Vezrin and I'll say to him in Elvish, "Don't worry, I can talk to you in just Elvish too."
And then I'll lean over to Esfon and let him know what you said.
And I'll speak to you in Sylvan to see if any of you guys know how to speak
Sylvan.
Sylvan.
I get what you're saying.
I'll speak in common. Aha!
I'll just randomly speak halfling.
And Meadow is there petting her dog, very confused.
Let's just stick to common for a bit.
I think common would be the best choice. That way we all can understand the conversation.
Well, shall we go to the...
Yes.
One more question.
Sure.
What are you?
I'm a furbolg. I'm from...
Never heard of one.
He's not from this island.
Well, furbolg are basically giants that have a little bit of fae in them. And I came through...
What's a fae?
A fae. Do you know what a fairy is?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, they're basically...
Maybe we should sit down. It seems like it might take a while.
While you're walking, she'll attempt to, she'll explain it to you.
Okay.
He probably doesn't understand even after a long explanation.
Yeah, he's still sort of scratching
you know what
his head
elf
because...
is? Just think elf, and a little bit older, and then throw some wings on him, and then a little bit of chaos. And a whole lot of pain.
I'll lean into more kind as this whole conversation going on. I'm like, are you sure you don't want to start drinking yet?
I'm good.
Well, I need a drink.
And you get to the tavern. Go froth. When you get in, the smell of meat is very strong, and beer. And you can see that there is a meat master who is cooking a whole deer above a large fire, and it's been smoking, and now it's getting some searing, and it's slicing pieces off as people want them for their meal. And as soon as you come in,
this is the same bar we just came from, right?
Yeah. So one thing that is very interesting in here is the sconces are all positioned in ways that create lots of little dark corners and little dark hidey holes, but it keeps the room lit enough that it feels like it's not a dark room. But you can hear conversations going on all over in here, but you can't quite hear what anyone's saying. Everything sounds very mumbly, which is a very odd experience in a place of food and drink.
Oh, it's a lot of carpet.
Yes, it's perfect for private conversations.
Well, I'm imposing on you, so I'll let you pick where we're sitting.
If our other table from earlier is still available, then we can move back there. Otherwise, we'll try to find our own little nook to sit in.
That table is not available. It has been filled. And you'll have to find another table. There's other ones around, none near the center like that one was, more to the sides.
I prefer further in the back anyways.
Okay.
Yeah, is there one in the
Easier.
dark?
Sure. In the darker. None are just dark. You're not sitting in blackness.
So, Kedwin, yes, Kedwin?
Caradwin. You can call me Dwin if you want.
Dwin, I like that. So, you've introduced yourself to us. Do you already know our names, or would you like us to introduce ourselves to you?
DM, do I ever know their names, or did Awok just tell me about them? I don't know if we specifically discussed that.
You know only one name in the group.
It's Vezrin.
Yes.
I only know your name. It's Vezrin. Have we met before? You seem familiar.
Morgan, make me an intelligence check, please.
Uh-oh. That should be good. It's my stat. So let's see.
You should be able to knock that out of the ballpark.
Natural 15 plus 4, 19.
There's something familiar about her. You're not exactly sure, but you're sure you've met her somewhere down the line.
Feel like we've met somewhere. I am Vezrin of House Magic. I am the son of the Jarl of the island.
There's this moment where her face just goes, whoa. Oh.
Unfortunately,
He leans over and is like, so you're McGreek?
Tiffany, can I ask you to bring your head up a little bit because you're hiding behind the little frame with your face?
Sorry.
Perfect.
I am from
Just
House
like instinctually
Magic.
thinks she has to bend over for them. So like,
Yes, I am from House Magic. Yes. But if you're afraid that I'm like most of my family, you would be mistaken. You actually interrupted. My family is currently trying to hunt me down and force me to return home. I was trying to strike up a conversation with the gentleman hunting me when you happened upon us. But it's okay. He knows where we are, so hopefully he will return here, and we can discuss this without violence.
yeah. Did we find a seat yet?
Yeah, you found a seat. You're
Okay.
sitting.
I would assume I wouldn't have had this conversation until we were sitting down. So.
Yeah, you're sitting.
Well, I've just been looking for you guys because you guys have the most information on all of the ascensions that have been happening. I mean, this is unprecedented in my tribe. What do we name them? We just named them.
Win Warren.
Win Warren. I knew it was Win something. But Win Warren sent me out to try to figure out what was going on. As I'm the tribe's professional bard and historian. So it's kind of fell on me to try to figure out what's going on and whether or not this is actually a good idea.
Where did you hear about us?
Oh, I was talking to Awok. He's the nice Kenku historian in the area. I said that guys were working on it, and if I wanted any sort of leads on it, then I should probably start with you.
No disrespect.
Morgan, make me an intelligence check.
Oh, goodness.
No disrespect.
Well, he's a-
But we just got back to town and spoke to Awok not too long ago, and he didn't even tell us that he had spoken to anyone like you. So I'd like to confirm with Awok before we share the details that we have.
Sure, yeah. I mean, that's perfectly fine with me. I mean, it seems to be a sensitive subject, so if you want to eat anything to ease your mind, fine with me.
Do we think Meadow might be able to reach Awok since she's going to be traveling with him anyways and confirm?
Yeah, I'll go check. I'll go see him.
I rolled a 2, Scott.
I know, I saw. That's why I didn't say anything, because you got nothing.
So, what do you know about my family, first and foremost? You seemed at odds when I told you that I'm a magic.
Oh, well, I just didn't expect a McGrick to be like way out here, away from the capital, and
Well, I'm not supposed to be.
way up there, and well, I don't know if you remember, but I did come to play for the McGricks when your mother offended, and I was there for a little bit.
When she says that, he grabs his drink and takes a big drink. Do I remember her now when she says that?
You do. She came and sang songs of lamentation for your family as part of their grieving process afterwards, and stayed for a while with other people who were there for that purpose.
Sorry I didn't pinpoint it. You are very talented. It was just a hard time for me in my family, so my mind
it's
is...
fine. I think fine. You are. Would he be like he was like a small child, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fine. You were a wee one at the time. It's just it was a bit of a shock. That's all.
Yes, well...
You remember when you were a kid that almost every bard from the whole island came at that time to kind of help the family through it.
Yeah. I would think a furball bard would stand out, though, a
Yes.
little bit compared to most of the other ones.
Absolutely. That's why you remember. All the other ones probably wouldn't remember.
Yeah.
This one you probably remember a little at least, because you were, like you said, you were a kid, and you were.
Yeah.
You were very young.
What?
Did we describe the way our characters look for Tiffany? I know this is very random, out of nowhere, but I don't know if we ever did describe how we look.
That has not happened.
You did not. Go for it.
Well...
Okay, I'll go first then. Islov is a 6'7" dragonborn man who at the time being has skin that is somewhere between the color of snow and the color of a very light blue sky. I made his eyes yellow, but he is wearing, right now he'd be wearing not really barbarian clothes. He has a lot of furs on, and they're covering most of his body.
Mm-hmm.
He might have his jacket undone, but he's fully dressed.
Mm-hmm.
Markant, how are you dressed, and how do you look?
Oh, I'm in kind of the religious garb top with just basic pants and boots. I'm a 5'6" half elf, kind of a more slender build, very clean cut.
What color is his hair?
His hair's like a brown.
Okay. Is he pale or fair skinned or tan?
Fair skin.
And definitely from his garments, a cleric of Acor, the god of the sea, which you would know.
No.
And Vestrin.
The Veteran has long, straight black hair, green eyes, and he has a soft copper skin. He stands about 5'3", and has a thin but muscular build. Oblong yet very stunning face. His fingers are delicate and long. Those who look at him closely notice he has a strange scar on his left hand. He typically wears black and green, or black or dark green garments, or blue of his family. Speaking of his clothes, they're well tailored, and beautiful decorations, definitely of a noble, family. He's almost always dressed to go out to an outing in high society. He looks like that. He does keep his long hair loose but well groomed, and he has like a passionate but lively look in his eyes. So
Matt Mercer.
I forgot to mention.
He does have a symbol of his house, a unicorn that hangs around his neck as well.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention that Love has a dad bod and 2 horns.
Do they like curl out? Are they like ram horns, or
They go straight back, but they're sort of twisted in a spiral.
Okay. They're like the antelope.
And they're not that long. They're like maybe 6 or 7 inches.
And he has a tail, which some Dragonborn do and some don't.
Not to mention that as well.
Saved or free?
So, you know me, and I know a little bit about you now. You don't know my comrades, though.
I do not. I also didn't describe myself.
Oh, it's true. Sorry. My bad.
Cerdwin has these like black tresses of long curly hair. She has sort of this dusky brown skin tone with a like satyr kind of like cow ear. She's 7'2". She kind of she has a long face with like a little bit of a like and round lips with really big green eyes. If you were to like approximately age her to a human approximate, she's like probably around 30. So she's like a little bit older. And she wears a lot of, she has a like kind of like bangly bracelets and a lot of, there's a lot of like kind of knickknacks on her. Like she's very kind of gypsy-ish. And right now she has a lot of furs on. Underneath she has a loose like peasant blouse with a sash, and she has a hair scarf that's tied like across the middle of her head and then ties in the back, and you can see the scarf kind of come out in front of her. And she's wearing like traveling boots and pants, so like she generally looks like she wears things for comfort and ease with like a little bit of a flair to it. And if there is a flair or a color, it's gonna be like any color. She's and blues and oranges, and like she's little pops. Like most of it's just like practical like browns, and then little pops of colors. And she has like a big backpack with she has a drum on her side, and then another instrument on her other side. You're not sure what's in it. It's an instrument case, and like as she sits down, you can like see her like loosen her coat a little bit, and you see just a little bit of like a flute on the inside pocket. And yeah, that's Kieran.
Perfect.
Awesome.
As I said, I'll let my friends introduce themselves to you, and I'll point to the two of you so you guys can decide who talks first.
I look at Morgan.
I'll just hello. I'm Morkant. I'm a apostate at the Soul here. So what information exactly are you looking for?
Oh, well, anything really, like what's happening and where are they going, and is this really a good thing? You know, a lot of it hasn't been questioned for a long time. And now that something out of the ordinary has happened, people are finally going, maybe we should start asking questions.
I guarantee you it's not a good thing.
Yeah.
She takes out her, she like waves her hand, and out comes this pen and notebook, and then she just starts taking notes.
What do you gentlemen think? Should we inform her of what's going on that we know of? Should we wait for Meadow to return?
I don't think it'll be necessary to wait for Meadow to return. I mean, she's going to be
No.
as much of an asset to us as we are to her. She seems to have been studying this longer than we have.
I don't see any reason to not tell her. She seems like trustworthy enough.
Thank you.
It doesn't seem like that much of a threat either.
Oh, well, let's see the other.
That's how he assesses everything.
I'm sure you've heard of the sound holes, yes? We might as well start with that.
Yeah,
Though-
you didn't tell me about the sound holes.
Okay, when people ascend,
Okay.
they would leave this space where there's no sound for anywhere from a few seconds to, in the extreme, a few days. And it's a weird phenomenon that no one's been able to figure out, but it's almost like a monument to who left, who was ascended just for that little brief time, that no sound goes in or comes out in that little foot wide space. And you can stand in it and sound is gone.
Do I have any information to procure, or can I?
No, you
Alright.
know of the phenomenon, but there's never been a good explanation.
So, do you know,
Right.
have you heard of the sound holes, yes?
Yeah, I have heard about it. Don't have a good explanation for it. It
Well-
happens across everywhere, across all of Elixia. Doesn't really matter who or what race or anyone.
Yes, well, for me, this is kind of what started my journey here. My sister and I we discovered what my mother's sound hole was because it's still there, which after so many years, it doesn't make sense. It shouldn't be there. So I came to the city following some art that my mother had drawn years ago before Morcant even existed, and it was of him. We met some of the others, including Eslov here, who has his own story to tell. Once we were here, and the event happened, and this ascension began, one of our comrades, who is Kean still here? No, he ran off. The gentleman who was with us who ran off earlier, he started to ascend, but he came back.
Right?
Yes, he
You've never heard of
disappeared
that
moments-
happening.
So
You're actually scribbling down notes.
when that happened, AWOC sought us out and sent us on our way to track somebody who had returned to the Ascension and was murdered upon his arrival here by something foul. So when we went to investigate, we discovered some strange beasts had killed him. We killed two of them. Morcant here was able to get one of them to speak to us before we had to end it. And I describe the Wendigos to you. We don't know that they're called Wendigos, but I describe what it is to you.
Don't know.
It's-
Would I know what they are, DM?
They're
Probably
not a
Comic.
creature you would have been familiar with or written anything about.
Okay.
They've never existed on the island until
We still have the
recently
head
anyway,
weapons.
so no.
Never had anything like that at all.
Did we get rid of the head?
We still no, we did get rid of that, didn't we?
No, it's at Acors. I mean, what's his name? AWOC.
AWOC.
It's in his
Um,
house.
It
Okay,
actually
well,
was. It yeah. It actually had the ability to cause us, some of us, me in particular, to crave living flesh, which was disturbing. But what we did learn from the creature when we got it to speak was that it came from the other side. And over there, those who ascend, and I lean in close, so like, even though people can't hear us, I still just, because I don't want people to hear, you know?
Her little ears kind of tilt towards you.
Yeah. Very engrossed in this.
People who ascend are either eaten, used as slave labor, or for sport or other such, I believe. And the one who returned came through a pond in a sacred clearing. And those things followed him through and killed him.
Ooh. Well, that's certainly unexpected.
Unnatural things. They
Well,
disgust me.
Is there anything that I'm missing that we should inform her of? or you, Eslo, you think of?
And Kian comes in the room. I was able to find that fellow that ran, and he told me that this Virgere is on the other side of the Roswin Bridge, waiting to speak with you, Vesrin. I don't need to take part in that. It sounds like a conversation, not something that requires a bow. And I do need to start making haste. I need to get Awok to on the road with Meadow.
Can you ask Awok if he can get us a copy of a book during his travels, unless we can find one here, of on the balance and equality of all life by the philosopher that he plans to meet with there? I don't know how if we can access that book here. We might be able to find it, but if we can't, then we can get one coming back to us, hopefully.
When I return here, I'll have one with me, I'm hoping, when I meet the author.
Thank you. Well, it's been a pleasure. You may want to give more a good hearty hug or handshake.
Yeah.
He'll miss you the most.
He's not a particularly warm person, but he'll give you a good strong handshake.
Stay safe, friend.
I'll give him a nod.
He'll give all of you, right,
Thumbs up.
the same.
Very well.
And it was nice meeting you, Caradwin.
Aaron was just like, hi. Bye.
And he throws his crossbow over his shoulder.
Did we ever mention explicitly that Aryan will not be joining us anymore?
No.
Were we not going to mention that?
That's fine. We can't. Well, we did now. It's fine either way.
So, does your tribe track the moon particularly well?
Do they? I think they do. No?
I mean, you do. You follow the moons. There's 2 moons, by the way.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I would say to you track them. If you do, you track Torve, which is the moon that's also nicknamed the Timekeeper, because it's very mathematical in its movements. The other one, Mave, is very erratic, and you don't really have the tools to track it and know exactly where it's going to be and all that stuff. But you do know that in the soul they somehow do track the movements of even Mave, which you don't know how they do it, but they do.
Not really. We if we need anything, we follow Torve just for timekeeping, but the soul is the one who really keeps track of that sort of thing.
But one other thing that happened that evening is Morve crossed through Torve's path twice, which the only other time that we know that's happened was back on the first ascension.
Interesting.
That you didn't know.
I didn't know that.
So that's one of the bigger things to me that hasn't been discussed to this point.
Yeah, you do remember that the night was the blackest, darkest night that you've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a very overcast night. It was very hard to even see the moons.
I'll lean over to Eslav and be like, do you want to show her, or do you want to keep it to yourself?
Tattoo. Skin art. I wouldn't say tattoo.
Right, skin art.
Yes.
Masking, okay. Maybe not in a public space. It might be weird for me to take my shirt off in the middle of...
Yeah, well, I'm sure these people would love a good show.
He'll shrug. He'll shrug and he'll turn around and he'll lift his shirt up so you can see the lower side of his back and you see the tattoo that he has there.
There's no boom chickie wawa at all. It's not like that kind of a thing.
She takes out her glasses, puts them on, and then starts to attempt to just draw it out in her notebook.
You recognize some things in it. I am going to, in Discord and to you, I'm going to drop some info just for you.
Okay. Just for me. Okay.
Yep. So let me go to another screen that will show this.
So, Vezrin, shall we cross the bridge and see what's going on there?
Edwin, I do need to take care of some very important family matters. You're welcome to come along if you wish.
Well, whatever's happening seems to be connected to you people.
It might not be the safest trip across the bridge, just fair warning.
Yes, fair warning. He is completely correct. Morkan, do you want to get your armor in case you need it?
It'll take me a while to put it on. I mean, I don't know how much time we have.
They can wait. People
All
wait
right,
for my
then
family.
we'll stop by the stall and I'll put my armor back on.
I want to make sure that you're protected if we need it, you know?
On the way, you run into Meadow and Awak, the Kenku. And,
Ewok.
you two found each other. I was hoping that would happen.
What happened?
I guess introductions are not necessary.
No, she found us.
I meant to tell you about her yesterday, but I was in such a rush. I was so excited at going to meet one of my what would you call it? A fan crush, I would suppose. on the
Admirers.
author. I'm such an admirer.
Speaking of this philosopher, do you happen to have On the Balance and Equality of Our Life? That book?
I don't, but there should be a copy in the Soul.
That's good to know. Morkan, maybe we can write that down as something to look into, yes?
Of course.
You are my hero, just so you know.
I appreciate
a man with
that.
access to knowledge. I love it.
Pretty convenient.
So, Awok, we have some business to attend to. It seems that my brothers have sent somebody to the city to either bring me home or to at least talk to me. So,
Fuck. Sure.
I'm hoping to avoid any kind of conflict in your town here, but I don't know what their intentions are. But letting you know now, I have no intentions of returning home with him. I'm set on figuring out what is going on with these Ascensions. They will have to kill me before they can take me home. But I want you to be aware we are not here to cause problems, and if anything do happen, I will do my best to make sure that nothing happens to the people here.
I wish you luck, and I will assume that you'll be able to make sure that they don't sally you off to Chiral against your will. You have your friends here. They look very capable, if not intimidating.
Especially this one. I went to Eslov.
Stand a little straighter. Just sort of like tilt my head back a bit.
I'm
subtle.
hoping Morkant can help me keep a level head. He seems to be good under pressure with that, so he is hoping.
Morkant and he looks at you with one eye, has grown into quite a man.
Thank you.
You do that in character, Tiffany.
Like really, she's behind you, and then Eslov says, "You have very." What did you say? Like
I didn't say
people, frightening people, and you pop up, and Caradwin's just like.
I don't notice, but
To be fair, I'm probably the shortest one here.
Maybe.
I'm
Maybe,
5'3".
Oh yeah, you are.
You are. Yeah.
I'm
I'm literally almost 2 feet taller than you.
Morkant can totally bully you.
As Morkant is wont to do.
we don't.
I just wanted to be clear.
I'm very glad the two of you found each other. When Caradwin came to me, I could tell she needed to meet you, and you needed to meet her. it was the only way this could be solved, I think. Bring together all those that are questioning it hard.
Hopefully we can work together and solve these problems, and if we're lucky, find a way to bring people home.
Yes.
We can go to this bridge then?
Yes. We'll see you later, Awok. If we don't see you before you leave, have a safe travel.
Thank you. And he heads on. And Meadow goes, I have to go with him to make arrangements with Kian. So I hope to see you again soon also. And she comes by, and instead of giving everybody a handshake, she gives everyone a big hug, warm and loving, and maybe a little less scared than she used to be.
Yeah. And
She even gives Karen a big hug from a small person.
I love hugs, and then hugs her back.
Oh,
I'll give
I
her
hope
a
you
pat on the
find your
back.
husband.
What?
Hello? He said he... Go ahead, say it again, Brendan.
I hope you find your husband.
Me too. I miss him so much. I'll keep looking, and I hope that he wasn't really lost at sea. People do eventually sometimes show up from ships that have gone down, you know.
Yes, but don't spend your whole life hoping that happens, Meadow. A lot of people go to sea and never come back. Stay safe.
Thank you.
Meadow, before you go, Kian left his pouch with me. I'd like him to take it with him, and I don't want him to forget it. It's important. You know, your husband gave it to him, and you know he ran out. He was so quick trying to take care of stuff. Maybe you can give it to him for me.
Sure. Do you have it?
Yeah, and I hand her the pouch.
Okay. And you hand her the pouch, and when it lands in her hand, it fades away right in front of you. And her eyes open, like, what happened?
I check myself.
It's in your pocket.
I try to hand it to her again.
And when it hits her hand, it fades away.
I guess it's
I lean over. I'm gonna lean over to Morkant. Be like, is he doing that on purpose?
It looks like one of your cantrips.
Possibility. He does do things like this on occasion.
It is a very interesting pouch, by the way, to Caradwin. It looks similar to like a little money pouch, but it has two handles made of ivory with carved pictures in them. And it's very pretty. It's very beautifully carved. The art is very nice.
When it fades the second time, I panic and try to pull it out a third time. That way you guys can tell this isn't me. And I'm like I put it in her hand and I pull away.
And it's in your pocket each time.
Oh. I'm now responsible for this pouch. I don't feel right about this, Meadow. I mean, this was your husband's. He made it for Kian.
I would take it, but I can't seem to take it.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Well, I will do my best to take care of it until...
Try giving it to Morkan. Maybe he can...
Oh no, it's fine. You can keep it.
Esla?
Try and take it.
And it's now in your hand. And it does not fade away.
I mean, you
Look
can
at it
always
for a
just
second.
pay a carrier to take it to Kian.
If you don't want to hold on to it, Esla, I will. If you want to, that's fine as well. I mean, I can study it if I hold on to it. Maybe I can learn more of it.
It's no burden to me.
It weighs nothing.
Yeah, I'll hold on to it for now. This is unique. I want to study this and learn more about what this might be.
Yeah, I'll hand it back to you.
Okay.
Well, I guess I can't give it back to Kian. So maybe this is my responsibility now. And I'm looking at Meadow like, in my head I'm thinking like, is she my responsibility now? Like,
I'm really sorry that I can't take it. I really want it. It was something my husband made.
Well, I wish I could give it to you. Safe travels, and if the gods will it, maybe we'll see each other again someday.
Yes.
Farewell, Meadow.
Farewell. And her and Awak walk away, a little confused.
Eslav will actually say farval instead of farewell, which is Draconic
Which I would know.
and Swedish in real life.
By the way, Vezrin just looks annoyed, confused, and nervous about having this pouch.
It's just a money purse. You can put money in it and everything.
Money machine.
No, he knows, but just the fact that it was Kian's and Kian gave it to him, and now he can't get now unless it's to one of these guys. I can't return it to Kian. So, and we know that was tied. I personally, Vezrin personally believes it's tied to Meadow, and so he's concerned about that right now. And that's what he thinks right now. So
it may have saved Kian's life, so maybe it'll save your life one day.
Let's continue.
So,
Yeah.
a question about your brothers are after you. Are they sending their men, or are they sending themselves?
They sent one of the best trackers in all of the island. So he said he wants to speak to me. No, his words were, "My only friend wants to speak to me. My only real friend wants to speak to me."
And that's nothing but ominous.
Yes, I'm concerned, but I'm hoping that he is willing to speak and I can leave without a fight.
There'll be no problems either way.
Oh, you're my only lead on this. So she pulls out this spear and puts it on her shoulder. You'll have a furball at your back. Hopefully it won't come to that, though.
I hope not as well. And honestly, if I could avoid any of you being put in danger, I would. I don't really wish any of you to come to harm. So if it looks bad, don't feel obligated to stay. With that, Vezrin will turn and walk towards the bridge.
Okay. Well, towards that part of town.
Gotta go to the Soul first, so I can get my
Oh
armor
yeah,
on.
the soul. I'm assuming we already went to the soul. You're right. Yeah.
Yep.
We'll
You
go
did
to the
not
soul
already go
first.
to the soul. So you go to
Yeah.
the soul, and Edda is there when you arrive, and she says, to Morkant, she comes up to you, she goes, "I have all the books lined up in the library waiting for you whenever you're ready to go through them."
There is something I need to take care of really quickly. I'm going to have these two start taking a look at them, and I'll point to Dwin and Vezrin. I need to go don my armor. How's everything going here? Still well, I hope?
Guess I'll just sit cross-legged on the floor.
There's still just tons of children in here. Caradwin, one thing you know that happened was with the Ascension, it really did leave 1,000+ children abandoned with no parents. So they've become the default home, this soul, for just a ton of them while they're trying to find them homes. Some of them are a lot have single parent homes now, but some have no parents. And that's just seeing the numbers every time you walk past it is disturbing in the numbers. It's so vast. 1,000 kids is like a whole village, a big village around here on the island.
And they're just sort of gathered in the soul?
They're being fed and clothed, and there are people coming to the soul to adopt some.
Okay.
But it's obviously, there's way more kids that can be adopted quickly, so it's going to take them time to find them homes.
And am I looking for the book? Or what was I? I was assigned something.
He said he was going to send you down while he changed into his armor to go look at the books, I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
We don't have time for that
Just to
right
give
now.
them access.
Yeah. I don't think you have time for it either.
Yeah. But
It only takes him 20 minutes or 30 minutes to put his armor on.
Edda, real quick though, I was told that you might have a particular book, and I don't know if it's already one of the books lined up, but On the Balance and Equality of All Life by is it Calliope?
Calliope.
Calliope, there you go. Calliope Matrilia?
I don't know it off the top of my head, but I'll check for you.
Thank you. If you could add that to the list of materials that we need to look over.
Okay, I will go check. And she heads out. Edda is, by the way, an initiata, which is the lowest level in the soul, just like a newer one.
She's an initiate.
Yeah, an initiate. And she seems to be always trying, as soon as Morkan comes around, she's around.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh, do I know that? Or
You can see, she, when you guys were coming up, she came running.
Oh. Maybe do you think she fancies that one? I'm gonna nod towards Morgan.
Oh, I didn't think about that. Perhaps. I don't know.
Morgan
Maybe she
notice
just wants
that?
to impress.
I'm somewhere else getting dressed, so not part of this conversation.
Maybe we should pursue this and dig deeper the next time we get a chance.
Ooh. Oh, I'd love a good snuggling.
I do too. So
Now,
much fun.
are the apostates celibate?
No.
Okay.
Oh my God, what kind of church do you think this is?
Besides being a bunch of alcoholics, I don't know.
Gods of the sea. You like...
Drink like fish.
Yeah.
I think we should definitely meddle. It'll be so much fun.
Oh, especially with someone like Morgan. She's so quiet.
Yes, he is. He is a delight once you get to know him, but he is a little bit quiet.
He does seem a bit shy.
You totally missed out. You could have seen Morkan in all of his glory when we first met him if you had come here right before the festival.
Eslav, you don't quite understand what they're talking about.
Are they speaking in a different language?
Oh, I don't know. Are you?
You know what? We should be. We'll be speaking in Sylvan.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
We're
You
just
definitely
over
don't
there
know what they're talking about.
Yeah, I'll just be looking around. I'm probably sitting on the floor right now, just twiddling my thumbs.
When I first met him, he was on top of the stone doing his part of their rituals in literally a loincloth.
Oh.
It was marvelous. It was a pure joy for everybody.
I'll just pull out my star chart and look at it.
In one way or another, it was fun. I just enjoyed it
I've
because
seen a loincloth. I mean, not that I'm complaining about anything.
it's part of their traditions, I assume. So
In the middle of winter, too.
yes,
Is it cold?
It was hilarious. Oh yes, he was very cold.
It was in the middle of winter.
Well, beginning of.
In the middle of winter, cold feet, cold hinds.
Yes.
And Morkant arrives after a little while, and he sees
so
you all giggling.
I'm in what is well-made armor that is obviously not very often used, that it's the point where you tell I don't normally wear it, so it looks more like it's wearing me than I'm wearing it. It's a little bit awkward in it.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, oh, okay, I have my armor on now whenever you are ready.
Let's head up.
And
Wait,
you have,
did we get the book from Edda?
Oh, we
Oh.
can't take the books, can we?
Edda comes up before you guys head out. She does. She goes, we do have that book in there. I've laid it out with the other books. So when you return, it'll be there ready for you. Is that acceptable, or do you need to take it with?
Morkan.
I can watch after the book if we leave the city, but I don't know that we are anytime soon. But I can hold on to it.
One moment, I'll retrieve it. And she
Thank you very much for that.
back into the soul and disappears
Like,
somewhere.
During that whole conversation, Caradwin's just looking at Morkant and then looking at Edda and just like looking. Eh?
And Vezra's nudging you. Vezra's nudging you.
What are you two up to?
Nothing. Just
Nothing.
nothing. She just maybe she thinks she might fancy you, but
What?
it's nothing to be ashamed about. It just means she likes you.
I don't believe that's the case. Anyways.
Even if it wasn't before, it probably is now.
I lean back over to Vesper and I'm like, in Sylvan, is he Is he shy? Do you think he's shy? Or maybe he doesn't fancy the ladies.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah,
But
maybe
I
he's
will
not just
say, he is kind of quiet. Maybe he's just shy. I think he's shy.
And she comes up the stair, comes out of the soul, and she moves at a quick pace, and she gives you this book. I mean, books are big. They're not like our books. It has weight and substantial. And she hands it to you. Make me a perception check, Morkant.
Can I
That
tell?
is going to be a
Sorry.
16.
Yeah, you can make the roll too. When she hands it to you, her hand just slightly touches your hand when she gives you the book. I mean,
Thank you very much.
You don't think anything of it, but it's just a handing of a book.
I'm going to.
Yeah, sure.
Edda, I have to say, you are wonderful, and Morcott is so lucky to have you help him. Aren't you?
I'm lucky to have him.
Yes, of course.
I'm
He's
learning
great
so
help.
much. I'm learning so much.
I have to tell you, I have worked with many people as assistants, and none of them are as proficient or skilled at doing their work as you are.
Very quick.
So,
Thank you. I work hard.
Morcott, when we come back, you should take her out as a thank you for all of her hard work.
I mean,
she blushes, and she just looks at you for a moment, red-faced, and she turns and walks back into the soul.
or maybe a grilled dinner. He's into it. I think
You're on the spot.
a good fit.
What?
I think we started on a good fit.
I think we did.
Morcant stares into the soul a little longer than he did any other time before now. I can see it. I'm just
We
staring
have
at
to
the
go.
soul.
Come on.
Nope, Morcant's completely oblivious to all this. Moves on. Okay, let's go take care of your friend, so we can get back to work.
And you head out to the city, and to the bridge. The bridge, by the way, it's called the bridge, the Roswin Bridge, and it crosses over the Roswin River, which runs along the east side of the city. It divides the city from the wilds to the east of it. This is how you actually arrived into the city, was crossing the Roswin Bridge. A little beyond that, and a little further east into the south, is part of the Reaching Woods that are home to you. And when you get there, there's guards, and they stand aside to let you leave.
We shall be back momentarily. We're just stepping up for a conversation.
As you wish.
Before we go any further, if you need to protect yourself in any way, I suggest you do so. I'm going to cast Mage Armor in case this goes from a peaceful chat to, they're trying to kill me or take me home.
I will cast Disguise Self on myself using the racial, and I'll turn into a human. She's just like, I'd rather not tie the furbolgs to annoying the McGricks. So.
Understandable.
I'll take the axe off my back and I'll just hold it in my hand.
That's his disguise.
It's not a disguise. It's preparation.
I love your disguise, Eslo. No, just kidding. So, all right.
And you cross the bridge.
I'll reach down, throw some mud on my face, call it a disguise.
Okay.
It's pretty good for the skin, actually.
If I get a little bit too passionate,
Believe me, I know.
I'm hoping you can reel me back in.
All right. I'll do what I can, but he seems to want to talk, so I'm not honestly too worried.
You just don't know my family like I do, which is the reason why I'm worried. I'm hoping that you are correct. That's my hopes. My brothers can be a little bit shady.
And you cross the river, and you don't see anybody there, but you smell some meat cooking somewhere in the area.
Smells like
Um,
maybe some deer. Deer.
A little tougher, maybe. Maybe
No.
boar.
I always liked good boar. It's pretty gamey, but I've always liked it. A bit of salt. Tastes like bacon.
Have you had it raw?
I don't think purple could be able to eat it raw.
You're missing out.
I was like, well, I do like a good steak that had a nice medium rare.
I don't know what that means.
Oh, it just gets like a little pink on the inside.
I think that's my favorite line from you. I don't know what that means. It happens frequently, and it always sounds.
It's only mine.
It always amuses me.
I just eat it red, I suppose.
And you'd like it rare. Or there's like another term for it's just being raw. I just don't remember what it is. Anyway, go on.
Tartar.
Tartar.
Blue.
Tartar.
That's not.
Tartar's cut.
It's when it's,
You're thinking about blue.
Oh.
The steak cooked blue.
we do have a professional chef in our midst, so.
Yeah, in real life.
yeah.
Anyway.
I thought tartar was when you. Never mind. Doesn't matter.
Erdogan's just going to talk to you, Slav, about food.
We're just talking about meat.
While they're doing that, I'll call out, Zakia, I'm here. Please
While we're
show
talking,
yourself.
you
No one
learn that
responds.
I don't like cooked food. I don't like seasoning.
Oh.
I don't like anything that makes food good. I like raw food.
You're pretty sure you could follow your nose to the food, to the cooking.
Let's move cautiously, but it looks like they're eating, so hopefully it'll be a
It'll be
conversation.
sluggish.
Before we start walking, I'll put my arm on Vezrin and just be like, "Don't worry, Awalk will give you guidance, and I'll cast guidance on him."
Okay,
That's creative.
nice.
No, I'm kidding.
Thank you. But I guess I feel the guidance. All right, so I'll move towards the fire.
Yeah, you go over a little rise, and as you hit the peak of the rise, you can see down in this valley between a couple of hills, there's an encampment. And in the encampment, you see one man, human, heavy furs. He's got a pole with a lantern on it that's not lit because it's day. And
Are there
there's a
woods
boar
around
on a
this?
spit. Huh?
Are there woods around this encampment?
Yes.
I'm going to immediately look to the tree line.
Make me a
Same.
perception check.
Well,
What'd you roll?
17.
Oh, 17. You don't see anybody in the woods around it. And there's about 10 or 12 tents or lean-tos propped up. There's a bunch of horses, and there's a cart with a cage on it. Nothing in it, but a tall cage.
I think I know what that cage is meant for. I want to lean in and just whisper that to Vezrin.
yes.
And the person in the camp doesn't seem to see you.
Moment of truth. You don't have to go forward.
Well, I don't think we need to go all the way into the camp. Make them meet us halfway. Just announce ourselves.
There's a good chance they already know we're here. He has some of the best trackers that work with him, and they're pretty good at hiding.
I would not
Go ahead, you speak first.
I would not doubt that there are some in those woods. I can't see any. But be careful, each of you.
I mean, they put a nice human-sized cage there. I think that's
Just so happens to be able to fit Vezrin.
It's big enough to fit more than just Vezrin, but it's tall enough for a man to stand in. Maybe it's for a bear.
Or for a bulk.
Maybe it cramped for me.
I will adjust my robes, dust myself off,
Bigger than a bear.
and stride forward with confidence.
I'm
And then
gonna walk like directly next to Vezrin.
Okay. What about the rest of you?
I will stand on the other side of Vezrin.
And Wolfcant's in the front. No.
I guess I'm taking the flank.
I see this picture. You see these two tall people, one guy really short in the middle, and then
Yeah.
While
Maybe
you're
it would
walking, you feel this weird sensation of being in slow-mo.
There's an explosion behind us for no reason.
The sun is, going down, and so you get this fiery look. No. And as you're walking up, he's cutting meat off of it, and you can see there's a table near a couple of the tents that he has some plates on, and he's cutting this meat and he's bringing it over to them. Come on then. And he looks at you, and he cuts more meat off the pig, and he brings it and puts it on the table.
No food for me. I just ate at the Go Froth.
Sit. We need to eat, and we need to drink. It's the way. And you know that when you eat, when you break bread together, it creates a noble agreement that things will not happen violently during the conversation.
I will relay that to the rest of you. What he's. If we break bread with him, we should be safe during the conversation at least.
How
You know, we just won't go back on that.
How far is the meat from whatever beverages he seems to have around it?
He's got a barrel of beer that he's tapped, it looks like, on one of the carts. And,
How far is the distance from that and the meat?
Probably 15 or 20 feet.
Okay.
Not far.
Could I do like an inside check on this guy to see if he like genuinely wants to actually just break bread with us versus it being like he has an underlying motive?
I do the same.
You can make an insight check to see if he seems to be
Forthright and honest.
honest in his what he's doing. What'd you roll?
I'm assuming I can too.
Sure.
Natural 20 plus 3.
He seems to be.
Got a 19.
Both of you feel like he's being honest, if not just very blunt, even.
It doesn't seem like he has anything to hide right now.
Oh.
Well, let's see what he has to say. Is this Bagheera, by the way, the guy that's cutting it?
Yes. And he's got blood on his hands. He's cutting the meat off. It's been cooking for a while, but...
What animal is it, by the way?
It's a pig. It's a boar, a wild boar. And he brings it in. For you, I'll cut from the inside. It'll be closer to the raw that I think you would prefer. And he pulls back part of the rib cage to get underneath, and he slices in and pulls out meat that's closer to a raw, and he puts it on a plate for you.
I'll accept it.
And there's a basket with some breads on the table, and beer. And the beer steins are big. Sit. We have a lot to talk about, and this is going to be the only time we'll have.
If you would allow me to bless the food, I'll stand up and cast Purify Food and Drink.
Okay. That was very distrusting of you.
I am very distrusting.
How have you been, Bagheera?
I have a question. To us, does it look like he's just blessing the food, or can we tell he's doing that cast?
I would like to try and hide it if I can.
It looks more like just a blessing, like a churchy thing. You don't see like magic glows or anything like that. It's just words.
When I eat, I'm not going to have any of the drink. I'm just going to eat the meat.
And when he puts the last meat down, he slams his dagger into the table in the middle of the table. Sit. Where are the rest of your ragtag band?
We've gone our separate ways from the others. They will be on their own journey from this point forward.
I don't know this one. And he points to you, Caradwin.
Hi. I'm Caradwin. Just call me Carrie.
That accent does not match that face.
Well, that's rude.
Yeah,
What does it matter to you?
Maybe I travel a lot.
You sound like you're from Shaley.
Maybe I am. What's it to you if I am?
Fine. I'm not really here to talk to the rest of you. You can listen in. I would like
I'll be
witnesses.
staring at him. I'll be staring at him intently. Like almost just like 100% of my concentration just on him.
And he goes and sits at the table. Interestingly, he does not sit at the head of the table. There's no seat there. He sits in the middle of the table, where for all of you to sit, one of you would have to sit next to him rather than all across from him.
I'll sit next to him.
Yeah, I was gonna like shove you down. I was like,
I'll just like put my arm around his shoulder while we're talking.
How have you been, Vingira?
It's been a trying season. You know why I'm here, right, Vezran?
I'm assuming my brothers have conned you into doing the dirty work.
Conned me. I'm in their employ. It's not a con when I'm working for my coin.
I just mean you're here because my brothers sent you. Said that they always try to do things sneakily behind my back. And
Then you don't know why I'm here.
I guess I don't.
Because I don't work for your brothers. I work for the house. And your brothers are not the house. Granted, at the moment, one of them is in charge. Eldrin is why I'm here. Was why I was here initially. Morgan, Vesrin, make me a perception check. Only you.
18.
Okay. Yes. Eldrin wants me to find you and bring you back. That's why that's here. And he points to the cage on the cart. It's also here for the rest of you if at the end of this conversation it doesn't go the way I am suspecting it should go.
Careful what you say next.
But Ratha is also part of the family, and she has been around a long time too, and is deserving of the respect of the name. Is she not?
I have nothing but love and respect for Ratha.
I'm going to give you some news today. That's the first thing I'm going to do, and it's going to perhaps change your mind. So, when you left, your charge was given to Ilyana, who is now trying to handle the accounts for the house. Payments have been slow and poor lately, but I believe in her, and she will straighten out the concerns as she learns how to do this. But Ratha sent me with 2 messages, both of which I don't understand, but I will say them the way that they were given to me. Make me a perception check. All of you can make one. Actually, make one with whoever has the highest perception can make one with advantage for the group.
I have a +5.
I am
+5.
+6.
Okay.
6?
Ooh.
Okay.
Oh, good thing there's advantage. That'll be a 25.
Okay. Off to the side of the cart, you see that there's another cart with maybe a body under a sheet, under a cloth of some kind. And that's what you see.
Just him?
That he saw it, but he can nudge you and point it out enough that you'll see it without it being too obvious.
Does he?
Yeah.
I'll nod. Or I won't nod, but I'll wink, I guess, at you.
Rotha said that the courier cannot make delivery. Feathers have pierced his heart. Does that mean something to you?
Would it? I mean, to me, it sounds out of character. It sounds like he's been killed or he's been bought by my brothers. One of the two.
Yeah, that sounds probably.
Okay.
And then he says, "Oh, go on. Sorry."
It has some meaning to me, yes.
She also says the vine does not obey the tree. Instead, it forever schemes to choke the life from it. Why anyone would send a message like that, I can't fathom. But Rotha is smarter and deeper than I have ever imagined anyone else to be. Does that mean something to you?
It means a lot to me.
And finally, I have a request of you. I got word from a messenger that was coming here. One of my men killed this messenger, shot him with an arrow, before we realized it was a messenger coming to bring me a message. That my daughter was in the Ascension.
Victor, I'm sorry.
She was 18 with her first child in her belly. And for the life of me, the gods have always said that they would never take the children during the Ascensions. And I can't imagine that that isn't a child being taken in the Ascensions.
We are trying to find out what's really happening in the Ascensions.
Faith is her name. And I may be a moment from putting my foot onto the step that leads to treason. But there are things that are worth it. Especially when you're as old as I am, and damn the gods for this. I could care less if my soul goes anywhere. But if it's true what they're saying about what you're doing, I would not bring you in. I would protect the woods as long as I could. If you can promise me that if you find her, that you'll bring her back, and that you can find her.
I believe we can.
Belief. Can you or can you not? Belief is not enough now. I don't even believe the gods now after a life of serving them correctly.
I will die before giving up. I will find a way in, and they will have to kill me to get me not to bring those who have been taken back.
Tyrduin raises her hand. Do you mind if I add a little something here? We know that someone came back. So that leads us to believe that people who go can come back, and that we should be able to get them back.
And he stands up and pulls back off the table. And he for the first time, he seems to shake for a little bit, and he goes to his knees. That is true? Someone returned from the Ascension?
I'm going to put my axe down on the table, like just lean it against it and put a hand on his back.
It is true. Unfortunately, at the same time, things followed him out and did kill him. We killed those things, but we have more answers now, and I believe that we know at least one way possible in.
I could care less about the things. I only care about getting her back. I could care less about the others that come back. I put my foot firmly on the stone of the step. I will lie to your brothers to keep them off your back. I will keep those coming after you that will be coming soon. They won't come until after the season probably, but you must move and be out of plain sight for a little while. I can't thank you more than just thanking you if my daughter returns with you. I don't have a lot of money, but I can offer assistance from afar that you can't get from others in these woods or from even your own home. I think the courier that was coming here was the one that I think may have been giving messages back and forth with you and your sister. And how she would have known that an arrow would have gone through his heart makes no sense to me. But I know that she can see things that others can't. I'm at your service, and I do not serve House McGrick anymore. I serve Vesrin from afar. I cannot be seen with you, but you have to promise to bring my daughter and her daughter or son. Her child in her belly the gods can't do this.
I will die before I don't bring her back. She's either coming back with me or my life is forfeit.
And Morkant, you see somebody starting to come over the ridge. Away! I'm not finished here! I've kept them all awake. They can't hear this because I have to make them believe that I'm still hunting for you.
What are you going to tell them?
You're going to defeat me here, and you will get away. All these men here, they're as good as two silver coin in the pocket of a drunk.
Make it look convincing.
Can I walk over to the cart with the body and see if it's Leopis?
It is, and there's an arrow sticking through his heart.
Okay.
He takes the dagger out and he slices his hand. This is my promise. And he puts his hand out to you.
I'll take my dagger and I'll slice my hand as well,
And he takes your hand. We're sealed. The food did not need your blessing. I was not here to poison, which I assume you could ascertain from this meeting that is for sure different than you expected.
Very much so.
Yeah, Kierduin's been like stuffing her face. It's really good.
And what about poor Leopis and his family? And I'll cover him back up.
I don't know at this point. I'll say the truth when it is needed. That we shot him thinking he was coming into the camp uninvited. And one of these men that I have here was, because of our last encounter, a little nervous.
I got an idea that might help it make it look pretty convincing. So I got a spell that can basically force people to run the other direction, and then we can get away. That way, how wise would you say your useless men are? It depends
They're
on that.
uselessly wise.
Okay, then a pretty good chance that it will. Then we'll be able to get out of the clear. That way, you don't have to lie to them. They can see what happened.
Honestly, I may. I'll take care of the problem here.
Okay, that's what you want.
I'm beyond indebted to you and your friends here. But we can't tarry very long. They will start to show up in numbers. And it has
be
to
an honor to help.
We're the best chance you have, honestly.
You're the only chance.
Right, well, should we punch you or something?
Sure.
Okay.
Before you
wait.
do that, I'll put my hand on his shoulder and no father should have to lose their child. I will do everything I can. I'm sorry for your loss at this moment, but we will bring her back.
I was impressed that you made it through the woods on your way here, by the way, Vestrin. I did not think it was in you.
I wasn't sure it was either. But something called me, and now I know what it is. I have to do what nobody else in my family is willing to do except for Rotha. Figure out where our people are going and make it right.
Then he stands up and he faces you, Kerwin, and he closes his eyes. Go ahead, then.
Yeah, she's not. She'll give him a good punch to the stomach.
Okay.
Try to knock the wind out of him.
And it definitely does. And he falls back a step and goes to his knees. You got to hit the face. There have to be bruises.
Perhaps Eslos should do that.
You volunteering me for it? Fine.
You don't want him to get killed, do you?
He'll give him a slap with like the bony part of his wrist.
Okay.
Wait! I have an idea. Can I throw you? Can I throw you onto the barrel?
If that would look more like a fight, that's for sure.
All right, she's just gonna pick him up and like hurl him at the barrel of beer.
Okay. No one's ever volunteered for that.
I've always wanted to do this.
We should probably go.
The barrel rolls off and he just lays in the snow.
I'm just trying to make it look like a fuss.
He's still breathing, right?
Yeah.
I'll flip the table over.
Flip the table.
Let's go.
He's gonna like
Nice.
stomp around to try and make it look like a scuffle happened.
And you hear him like. At first, it sounds like he's crying, and then you realize it's a deep guttural laugh at this.
Psycho.
Oh boy, there's a lot to unpack there.
Oh,
Let's
should
get out of
we
here.
cut and
Let's
run?
go. Let's go. Bagheera, I'll find a way to let you know.
I think heading into the woods would be the best option.
Yeah.
No, we should.
Oh, I know.
Do we need to go back to Phelan or no?
Let's just, yeah.
We can wrap around.
I'm with Wood.
I don't particularly want to go in the woods at night, but we can.
Is it
do
night?
It's not night. It's day.
Oh, I thought it was. Okay, if it's day, yeah, let's go in the woods. Roundabout.
And he gets up, and he just watches you head away. And he takes the knife from the ground near the table, and he starts heading in the direction that one guy came over the ridge.
Okay.
And you head to
Really?
Phelan.
Let's go back to Phelan's. Yeah. I don't know what to say.
Well, I think we should get some distance between us and them.
And this would be a good place to take a bio break.
That is not where I thought you were going to take it. It's awesome.
Break.
And now I've just sworn my life to making sure this gets solved.
We're back. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. We're all back from our bio break. Got a little bit to eat. Went to the bathroom, snacks or whatever. And they were just leaving the scene of an emotional breakdown of a father. And heading into Phelan. Back into Phelan. And you get to the bridge.
Well, what's the course of action now?
Well, first thing
Back
first,
to Treven.
we should start looking through those books, seeing if we can connect any more dots between what we know now and what we need to figure out. And then we go from there. I don't know, there might be a way through that pond in that clearing. But until we have a chance to really get an idea of what we know already.
Know about the clearing?
Yeah, I had told her a little bit about the clearing where we had gone into a clearing that's where we went and fought the Indigos and everything out in that area. And we found out that they'd come through after somebody threw a sacred pond. And that pond, we think, is a portal to... But they came through during the Ascension, so I don't know if we can open it without the Ascension. Or the...
Maybe it came through, did they come through on the festival night? Maybe it had to do with the moons lining up. That seems to be the only deviation from other ascensions happening.
Yes, perhaps.
In the as you're crossing the bridge, you see that vine symbol carved into the wood on one of the posts.
There it is again.
I'm concerned about this vine. You guys heard what Rafa had sent to me, yes?
Perhaps we should destroy the head of that beast, just to be sure.
I can do it right now if you want.
I think would probably be the best precaution.
Are we like next to like a ditch or something?
Yeah, you're
Next
over a
to the
river.
woods?
Don't throw it in the river.
I'm not gonna throw it in the
Poison
river.
water. Someone's poisoned the watering hole.
Maybe we shouldn't do it. In fact, maybe we shouldn't do it here at all because I don't want it in the water.
By the way, Karen, when you see him carrying this net that is holding what ostensibly is a ball of mud with antlers sticking out the sides.
We keep referring to it as the head.
Has he had it the whole time?
Mm-hmm.
He's carried it kind of around him. Yeah.
But not, has it been like obviously, has he tried to conceal it at all? Or is he just like,
No.
okay.
No,
You know what? I was wondering about the head. Is it
you'll see.
a head?
You would have seen the pictures of it, because I showed you earlier, of the beast.
Right.
But that's one of their heads. The actual heads.
I'm not really judging, but why did you keep a head?
They thought
why didn't we keep
AWOT
it?
would want it.
For
Did he want
research purposes. For research purposes.
We thought it
understanding
might
what
come in
No.
useful.
No,
Well,
he just...
the person then?
No, he didn't want it, but I think it's important for people to see it so they know what it is if they ever see anything like it again.
You know, maybe we might be able to sell the antlers. Sorry, we should probably just get rid of it.
If you want the antlers, you can have them.
Well, when we're like a good enough distance away from the,
Kind of want the antlers.
hey, you could take the antlers. I don't want them. I already have a pair.
This was a living creature. It talked with us.
She didn't
Yeah,
talk to me. I
that's your
just didn't
point.
eat their antlers.
By all means.
That doesn't have anything to do with us wanting antlers.
I'm going to take the antler. It's like, I mean, they're going to get rid of this head. How are we getting rid of the head?
I could fire.
Stomp on it.
Assuming fire, but...
You see me like light up my hand, like a firebolt in my hand.
I'm just going to like take my spear and then kind of cut off the antlers.
I could break them off.
Oh,
I was just gonna snap them off.
Sure, that works.
Yes, I'll snap them off and I'll hand them.
All right, let's,
Yeah, to make a nice hat.
Let's spin this baby.
They're pretty big. So you're heading back to the Soul then, I assume. Okay. You get to the Soul, and Etta comes out. Are you here for the books? They're all laid out, ready for your inspection.
Yes, I think it's finally time that I get to the books. Thank you, Etta. And then I'll start heading towards the library.
She heads down, leading you all down, and you basically go into the underground. And the Soul is a brach, which is a Scottish kind of a round fortress or building, where all the living quarters are on the outside, and in the center is a big fire pit, so it warms the rest of the building from the center. And on the outside, you go down into this stairwell down to a big door, and when you open it, there's a library in here. There's an old man in here who looked like he was sleeping, but he pops up when you all arrive. Oh, you're here for your books. No, excuse me. I was just taking a moment to nap. And he leads you over. Thank you, Etta. And she smiles and heads up. And laid out in front of you are these books. And in the Discord, I'm gonna have to do it in pieces because it's too many words for Discord to take at once.
We love to see it.
I'm gonna send it in groups.
Thank you, Discord. Very cool.
There's one. And these are the books that have been laid out for you.
Sweet, take one. What are you looking for exactly? Something that seems important.
Caradwin, make me a perception check.
I think I already know the answer, but are any of these written in Draconic?
That's a dirty 20.
A dirty what?
20.
20? Okay. There is a book in here that you recognize the cover of. And you recognize it by your name on it.
Aha. Oh, look, they have one of mine. Shoot, I'm gonna like. Is the old man sleeping again?
He's there. He's like, if you need anything, I'll be right there. And he just goes and sits. He doesn't lay down. He just sort of sits and waits for you.
I'm gonna go to the book.
Okay.
And then I want to like take it and then try to like sneakily sign it and then put it back.
That's good.
Do I notice this?
Yeah, you do.
I just give a dirty look.
Do any of the books have any of the books been written in Draconic, Scott?
I would not say in Draconic, but there's some where you recognize a few bits of it as being Draconic symbology.
Because I can't read
in the
common.
midst. Yeah, then you won't be able to read them. They're not all. Most of them aren't in common. They're mostly in Sylvan, Elven. But there's some in common.
If we see one with a lot of pictures, then I'll take care of it.
Yeah. So the old man, he comes over. He goes, "You look a little concerned about the writing. I take it you don't read well."
I don't read at all.
Okay,
It's
so
Draconic.
I'll tell you these books. This first one is The Witterwhack and the Glindersnatch. That is a collection of children's stories, which amazing wild beasts and monsters that snatch children in the night and eat them, or worse, transform them. Many of the words are just nonsense, I think, but there's something to be said for allowing the mind to invent. Then the next one, this one is on the ensorcement of the Fey Lords. Ensorcement of the Fey Lords.
That's a good one.
This is one where the author describes the types of bargains and deals that Fey Lords may put upon one, often binding you to through their magics to the deal, whatever the deal is. They also are capable of combining spells in ways that normal, typical magicians cannot do. This one, when moons collide, it's the phases of the moons and the suns are discussed. It is very interesting that at the time of the writing, they had no ability to grasp the movement of Mave, the moon of chaos, which we still have some trouble doing it, but thanks to ones like Morkant, we've been able to track her down some, not make her quite as specific as her sister, but well, also too, one of the things you notice about is it states that the Knights of the Ink Skies are the purview of the god Shaile, Lady of Shadows, and Karash, god of conspiracies and lies. Karash is an ancient god that apparently is no longer worshipped. But you also know that it is an older version of the word Karos, which you have heard today, as the name of that vine. The birth of passions and their purposes and dispossesses. This is a book that is about Helast, the mistress of the chase, basically a god of the hunt. And it recognized that passion was the greatest strength and weakness even of the gods. And that the only weapon more dangerous and counter to every weapon is unbridled passion, either love or hate, in equal measure. Either one can be more powerful than any weapon. And weapon is not necessarily a weapon of killing. It can be a weapon of deceit, a weapon of a magical weapon. That's the only thing, passion, that is more powerful than any of those, apparently, based on the writings of the author. The next one is Bargains in Cold Blood. And it explains how the gods put life through the weave into blood, and that blood is magic because it is life. Which is why when blood is drained from somebody, not only does their life leave, but so does their magic, if they're magical. Upending civility and instilling the fervent of chaos. This is a book on sowing chaos, and there's a question in it about whether the Festival of Mists is an attempt at creating chaos, because it is the most chaotic, most uncalculable occurrence on the island. You don't know when it's going to happen. It will sometimes go 3 years without happening, and then it'll go 45 years without happening. And then when it does happen, it'll be big or small. And you never know if it was the last one until the next one occurs. So it creates chaos in the lives of everyone on the island. The next one is the Elixion High Lords and their mastery of deepwater naval defenses. This is a book on the famous naval strategies of the House of Magrick. You've probably fallen asleep reading that one once or twice, Vestrin.
I was going to say, have I read this one? I feel like I've read this one over and over and over.
Yeah, for sure. And you probably despise it.
He's in groans.
The Longborn History of Elixia, Volume 31 by Caradwyn Sagewind.
This looks
I look over to her when he points that out.
Yes, I wrote it. My family has been writing. I come from a long line of historians, and generations before I've written the 31 before me, and this is my edition. Just came out last year, maybe 2 years. Time doesn't mean a lot to me.
Then the next one is The Soul and the Seal, the transformative sleep of the Apania of a core. This is a book that explains the draught of sleep that the Apanias of any soul drink at the beginning of winter, and then they hibernate for 3 months. And it extends their lives by more than in some cases as much as 50%. So losing a quarter of your life to get another extra quarter plus on top of it is an interesting use of their time. As a matter of fact, the Apania here is in this sleep at the moment. The Song Weave of the Eladrin discusses Eladrin bardic magic and how songs in the weave can bind souls, minds, and bodies to keep them connected and close for a short time or to eternity.
Ooh, that looks interesting.
And then on the balance and equality of all life, it discusses Kairos in it. And when it discusses it, oddly, it doesn't discuss it in the way that you've heard it discussed before. It discusses Kairos as an ancient practice in philosophy related to something small and beautiful and purposely overwhelming something older and stronger. It's been mentioned by the philosopher Calliope Matrilia as being an act of either murder or intaking the soul of another. She called it Kairosh, by the way, which is a more ancient term. She couldn't figure out exactly which is the right term because there seems to be 3 or 4 different variations of the term Kairos, Kairosh, Karsh, Kairosha, Kairos, S instead of SH, blah, blah, blah. And she called it this thing with the vine, the paradox of the parasite. And those are the books that have been laid out.
Can I take When Moons Collide and then try to compare? I want to see if the moons had eclipsed each other before, and if anything happened on those days, like another ascension of mass. Or I want to see if I can find the correlations between the moon phases and these ascensions.
It has happened before. It happened when the first ascension happened. And that was the only time that what happened this time happened then.
And so the moons eclipsed during the first ascension.
They don't always eclipse during all ascensions. But
the first one they did.
Yes, and then the one that just happened, they did. And this time, not only did they eclipse, they eclipsed with the sun simultaneously. The sun was on the horizon, and all 3 eclipsed for a little time that day. And then the moon came back again, Mave, and the 2 moons crisscrossed and came across each other again. What were you gonna say, Morgan?
I was going to say it happened twice this time, too.
Yeah. And that has not happened quite like this. It created what's called an ink sky, which is the sky so black that you can see no details, you can see no stars, you can see no anything.
I want to thumb through the children's stories and see if I see anything that resembles or is described similar to the beast we fought.
You do. Matter of fact, there's something in there called the Witterwhack that seems to be a beast of starvation and of the perils of giving into your most dire needs at the peril of other people and feeding on others. Cannibalism is the lowest form of it. And when that happens, the Witterwhack is called into being in your darkness.
And how old is this book?
It's very old. There's no date, but it's very, very old.
Well, it looks like these creatures have crossed into our world before. They seem pretty well described here in this children's book. And I'll relay the information to everyone there.
Okay.
Seems to be a connection between these things and cannibalism. It says here that they're called from your own darkness. Do you suppose that it's just metaphorically, or if people's actual dark desires have an impact on the fabric of reality?
And the old man, he interjects, "It's a children's book. It's meant to scare the children and make them behave."
Oh, then why was it laid out for us?
Yes, but legends are built.
You speak with Edna and see what she found in this book, and why she chose to put it to the side, because it does seem to fit quite well.
That's what we faced.
Is there any kind of mention of the ponds or anything that alludes to them coming from the water or anything like that, or where they come from in the book? No?
No.
Okay.
On the assortments of the Fey Lords, is there anything of interest in relation to the things that we're trying to understand that stand out to me?
As you go through it, you start to correlate the magic of the pouch, that it could be some kind of Fey magic bound to maybe Meadow's buttons, or one of the buttons, that they will sometimes use these magics to bind people so they can't flee or leave who they're supposed to protect. And sometimes it would lock them even from crossing over in death.
I will, share that discovery with you guys as well. Perhaps this is why Keen wasn't able to ascend.
Because he's wearing this thing.
Yes, perhaps this prevented him from being able to cross over.
From what you're reading, it seems like if that's the case, what would have prevented him from crossing over is the fact that Meadow didn't also cross over. So it locked them together so they could not leave each other that way.
Can I look at the Eladrin book?
Sure.
Awesome. I should be way into that book.
Yeah, where is that? You sure you don't want to look at the Elixion High Lords and their mastery of deepwater naval defenses?
She saw the cringe and was like, Like,
No.
why is this here?
The Songweave of the Eladrin. So the Songweave of the Eladrin, it's a book of Eladrin magic and how they use it to bind people's souls, minds, and bodies. And it kind of ties in with what Vestrin was reading too, that these binds are really combinations of spells that are used somehow together rather than individually, which it seems like only really very powerful beings are able to do if they do it on their own. Although it's possible to do it through Fey magic with a lot of Fey involved in the spell ritualistically.
Slav has probably just been sleeping in a chair in the corner this whole time.
Oh no, the old man is keeping you from sleeping. He's talking to you when you get bored.
By the way, in the Fey Lord book, I saw on here it says it talks about how Fays make bargains and stuff. Does it remind me of anything with that creature I met in the forest at all?
Oh, yeah. That was a bargain.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
for sure recognize that now as a bargain.
Yeah. Okay. I just want to make sure that, I was able to connect those dots.
Yes. It also says that a lot of times the bargains on the surface are often not recognizable as bargains to the person being bargained with. It can be as simple as offering someone a gift, and with the gift comes the bargain you have now been bound to. Like perhaps a pouch being handed to you.
Mm-hmm.
As
or
a
perhaps
gift.
perhaps me sharing my food willingly.
Maybe.
And he chose not to rob me instead because I was polite.
Yep.
All right.
Anywhere in Bargains of Cold Blood do I see anything that would allude towards ascension or deals of slavery, anything of that nature?
Well, what it really talks about is the fact that blood is magic, and that beings that use magic, unless they go through some very specialized spellcraft, generally can't do magic without that living. Not this kind of magic, whatever kind it's talking about. It sounds like it's mostly fey magic and things like that. There are some exceptions that are hard to explain, but the author has trouble explaining, like necromantic magics and stuff. Although a lot of that uses blood of living people to create life in the dead. So there is some of that.
On the balance and equality of all life.
Yeah.
I've been saving that one. I wanted to look through that.
Well, that one, the thing that strikes you there is that it talks about the Order of Kairos, which seems to be some sect or cult that follows the tenets of an ancient, long dead god named Kairos or Karosh.
When was the last time the cult was seen? Does the book indicate
It's only been discussed. No, it doesn't say when they were seen because the book is not necessarily dated, but it says that it's supposedly it had disappeared when the god disappeared, left, or was subsumed or something. It's not really clear on that.
I'll point this out to you guys, and I will say, what if we're dealing with a cult?
I mean, it's definitely possible.
I don't know what that is.
Does it say anything about the ascension in there or
It
anything of
explains
that nature?
It does
I
not.
mean,
Not about the ascension. But
Yeah,
the
maybe
symbol
it's-
in the writing, the symbol for the god is the vine symbol you've been seeing around town.
This is disturbing, in the least. I mean, we're seeing this in 2 towns now. We might be dealing with something we weren't expecting.
I'm sure we can ask around and see if anyone's been talking about Karos or anything of that nature, as we see this showing up all over the place.
I mean,
If the cult
we
is spawning,
we-
someone may have heard something.
could ask, but I mean, if this cult has been hidden for who knows how long, and the members are just starting to show, it might not be as easy just to ask around. It may not work that way. We should just keep in mind we need to try to catch people in the act.
Morkent, can you make me a religion check, please?
Sure can. Choo-choo. That would be a 21.
You don't recall this Karos ever being worshipped on the island in all of the readings and the the study and the training and classes you've ever been given. You've never heard the name until this, since the Ascension. And it seems odd that it would be showing up so much all of a sudden with these symbols. It kind of strikes you that it would be really odd that it would never be mentioned in any of the books you've ever had to study if it was a god and you've studied religions.
Okay.
Do you tell us that?
Yeah. It's bizarre. Never really heard of Karos before. It seems to be a dead religion at best. And with how active the gods are, I can't imagine.
Wouldn't it be a new one?
Do you think it's a stretch to think that Karos is connected to the smaller moon? Like maybe
To the goddess Mave?
Maybe?
What do I know about the goddess Mave?
She's the chaotic god, the one that pushes adventurers to their best heights by presenting them challenges that are unexpected. She's not really worshipped as much as she's revered because she's feared for the chaotic nature of what she does. Torve is actually worshipped because you can count on her. Mave puts challenges into your life to make you grow. That's the best that you can hear that anyone will say about her. But most people won't even go that far. Most commoners would have it's more of a fear of Mave than a respect. Because it requires bravery to face things that Mave would be putting out in front of you, particularly with fishermen. When Mave is swinging around the sky, those seas are crazy and very rough and dangerous currents because suddenly there's two moons currents pushing things around in ways that are unexpected. So sailors are terrified of her.
For everything I've studied, Mave have always been there? Like, would there have been some of the studies I have where Mave is just not referenced, or that being such a big part of this world? Like, would that void exist in history? At least to my recollection.
Mave was actually at some point created by Akor, as was Torve, but Torve was much older, supposedly.
Okay. I relay that information.
Okay.
Barking up the wrong tree then. Well, side note, I think it might benefit us to try to look more into this Fey magic because Vezran was talking about that pouch and how it's probably Fey magic and it might have potentially prevented someone from ascending. So we know that if that's accurate, then that means that there is magic out there that's strong enough to stop this from happening. And I think it might be a good idea to pursue that. If we can't just outright stop it, we might want to, find ways to prevent it. Instead of going after the source, going to a source that can actually help us.
But I have reason to believe that the pouch is connected to what Meadow has. So if they take both people, then you'll still ascend. So
Well,
it would only be
it was still
useful.
enough to interfere.
Yes, potentially. But if everybody starts arming themselves with that stuff, we may have a bigger issue if whatever's on the other side pulling them decides to go, oh yeah, let's just pull everyone. I don't know if that's possible, but we saw they pulled a lot of people.
Still got a lot of questions.
It pains me, but I'm going to read the Naval book once more and see if there's anything related to what we're dealing with that might be hidden in those pages that I've never really put two and two before together.
Okay, so the standing stones, the naming stones, were apparently put there and were used to name the bodies of water that were nearest them, and the Navy would use them as eventually they were used by the Navy as markers. And it mentions all these standing stones all over the island. And in the book, there's mention of ancient runes that represented the names of the stones, and there's drawings of the runes in the book.
I will transcribe the maps and the drawings, and if there's anything is there, like you said, there's a map that shows where the standing stones are.
Yes.
I'll try to get a copy of that as well, so that we can use that if we're trying to track them.
Interestingly, there's a standing stone not near a body of water that they don't know why. They think maybe there was water there at one point, but it's in the middle of the Elixion woods, the Elixion wilds, and nobody goes there. Now, the runes on there, you don't really recognize them, but Caradwin recognizes some of them.
Mind if I take a look at these?
Yes, please.
I look at them and like compare it to my own like personal notes.
Some of these runes you have already written from the standing stones you've seen already. Mm-hmm. But there's more from some of the ones you have not seen and didn't even know existed.
Ooh, this one's new.
And it's in the most boring book you could have imagined. And it was right, like, who would have read it thinking that it would be there? But the standing stones are apparently tall enough they can be seen from quite a distance in the water, in most cases.
Do I know what the runes mean, or just I've just found them before?
You don't, but you do know that some of the runes have been you suspect that some of the runes have changed over time and have rooted themselves in our own languages in different ways that might be able to be Rosetta Stoned, as it were.
Transcribed.
Yeah.
I think I might be able to figure these out. I just gotta spend a lot of time with it because I've been studying these standing stones for a long time, and they all have these marks on them.
Can you investor and make me an intelligence check?
I'll have to just spend a lot of time with it, comparing it to my notes, and I think there might be rooted in a common language. I'm not sure yet.
Just a straight intelligence check?
Yep.
I rolled a natural 18.
Cool.
Plus 4. 18, 19, 20, 22.
There are some on the diagrams. It shows that there are also some runes that are on the standing stones under the ground because the stones keep going deep, and some are drawn. But there's also one on the very top of each one, and the one on the top, you both recognize as a symbol of magic. And that's the only one both of you recognize as being a modern symbol.
Do I know what kind of symbol it is? Is it like what type of magic?
It's a symbol from the god of magic.
Oh.
That is... I forgot the name. Give me a second. Buros. Also known as the Master of Mists.
Hold on. Buros.
And his symbol is magic.
Did you see that symbol? Do you recognize it?
I mean, I would imagine Caradwin would recognize it.
Yeah. It's striking in that it's the only symbol in all the stuff that seems to still be used as it was then.
Yeah, it's for magic. Magic.
Yeah.
I think some of these runes have changed over time from ancient times and sort of morphed into the runes we use now, but this is the other one that hasn't really changed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice.
Doesn't seem to have evolved.
Yes. It's interesting to note. Who would have thought this book that I've read 100 times and wanted to fall asleep during actually had something useful in it?
And while this is happening, I'll read the last book, The Longborn History of Elixia. How's the tone of the book? Is it kind of dull or a little bit of humor to it?
There's definitely some humor to it. It talks about some things that you would know, like the nobility of the house, and then it also talks about some of the woods, particularly the reaching woods. But there's a bit of a reverence for the value of recording this history, a little less reverence for the value of recording just names and dates. But they're in there too, just, because they have to be, supposedly. Oh, we have some bots in our chat.
One question real quick. When I was looking through the naval book and seeing all the standing stones, is there anything that shows the area where I saw the unicorn? Is there anything tied to the book or the map to that location?
There's not a standing stone there, no.
Yeah. I don't know if there's anything else, like any kind of ruins.
Are you saying anything about it while you're...
Yes, I will. I will say it out loud.
Caradwin would know that what you were in was called a brock, and it's just like the soul here. It's a type of building that a lot of the religions have used. And where you were, there was one in the ancient times.
How long do we have before travel becomes incredibly dangerous from the snow?
You mean over land or water? Because it's already
Overland.
too dangerous in water. It's cold. I mean, it's got snow. It's not snowing you into the point that you can't travel. You don't know if it'll ever... You have all what you need to be able to travel in it around the island. It's just, you'll have to do it by foot.
How far are we from the standing stone that's not near water? Or the naming stone, sorry.
The one that's in the Elixion Wilds?
Yeah, you're not sure how to get there. There's no road. Your guess would be 2 weeks, maybe, through the forest.
I mean, these are tall objects.
Mm-hmm.
Have we seen this one in the distance?
No.
Okay.
It's small. It's lower than the trees.
Okay. It's like, would I have any idea where it is? Because I've done a lot of traveling.
You have not traveled in that part of the woods because it's too dangerous.
All right, it's that part. Okay.
Yeah.
These I find weird is somebody has. I mean, can you see that standing stone from, even though it's in the forest, or is that because you said it's nowhere near water? So I'm wondering how people were able to find that one unless somebody's been there.
I'm kind of wondering, though, as we were told that there are more sacred ponds in different forests. I wonder if there is water there. One of those sacred ponds.
That's a good point.
These ponds, who are they sacred to? Which god sanctified it?
I don't
we
remember.
found a druid that worshipped some of the ancient gods. Do you remember which one he worshipped, Scott?
The
Did
druid?
we ask that question? Yeah.
Yeah, the druid worshipped. Hold on, I gotta get the name.
I don't know that I asked. Just said he was an ancient god.
Oh,
I'm good
Hold
on clearing Treven Green.
Was it a god or just the ancient ways?
it was a god. It was an animistic god in the area. It was Alishay, which was the god of that wildlands, that forest.
Okay.
Oh, that's right.
Caradwin, you might you would think that god would probably correlate to Quiel, the god of the forests. Maybe. They're very similar. They're not the same, but they're similar. Seems to be more like a more specific rendition of the god.
All right. Well, what are we doing next? With all the books, we put Asdal to sleep.
Even the old man fell asleep leaning against him. They're leaning on each other, sleeping.
I think
Sorry, Aslam, had to be an info dump tonight.
All right.
I don't know. This standing stone is what's getting me, and I kind of feel like the only way forward is to risk our lives going through those ponds. But I know Treven wouldn't appreciate us going back. And I know this is incredibly dangerous to head out there, but I don't know what else we can do.
Yeah, we're a bit kind of grasping at straws, so yeah,
maybe we should go back and speak to our druid friend and Treven and show him this map and see if anything on here with these stones or that might correlate with what he might know about the other locations.
I don't know. He's been guarding that one spot his entire life. I don't know how much he's going to know about anywhere else. I mean, we could ask around to see try and figure out if anyone's talked about Karos, but it's a name I've never heard. So
I haven't either.
I don't even know where to start looking for people who would be in a cult.
Yeah.
Those are the only two leads I can seem to find from the books we've been reading this evening.
I wouldn't mind speaking to the people in the town near the stone to see if anybody noticed anybody putting marks on the stone, or if they can keep an eye out for similar things. If people start looking for the symbol being placed places, they might catch somebody doing it. And then we might be able to get a lead on people that might be a part of this potential cult.
Yeah, maybe they're the same people. Sure, we can go. Do you want to go back to the stone and?
Yeah, perhaps. But just so you know, Twin, my concern about Karos is that when the gentleman who came through that was killed back from the Ascension, I don't think I told you earlier, but he actually had an odd find that was wrapped in his hand. He had killed the flowers that he was holding, but the vine was still alive. Afterwards, after speaking to the druid, we did discover that this vine could literally destroy the entire forest.
Where's the vine?
We destroyed it. I burned it.
So he brought this unholy vine with him from the other world?
I don't know if he did it intentionally or if there's something else going on.
It may have been the Witcherwhack that brought it.
Yeah, maybe. Well, I think we need to go on an expedition either way. Just because we just don't have enough information.
Well, the question is, do we brave the deepest parts of the forest in something that may or may not be there? Or do we try to collect some intel about this cult that people may or may not let us know?
Why not do both? I mean, we could have eyes and ears. You have people here at the Soul that could be looking around. We have...
I don't know if you realize this, but there's a lot going on here at the Soul. There's a lot of children that need to be placed. There's only so much I can ask people to do.
I'm not asking them to go hunting, but you can ask for them to keep an eye if they see people putting strange symbol places while they're out and about.
Oh, of course.
But I think we should focus on an expedition.
I mean, we won't be able to leave until tomorrow anyway, so it might benefit from just, asking around town and then bunking somewhere for the night.
Yeah. Let's do that.
All right.
How long have we been here, by the way, with all these books?
Oh my god, just
Hours.
it's gone on and on. Oh my god, it's probably morning already.
Through the night.
Yeah.
If that's the case, we should probably go rest. I don't want to be...
Eslav has slept.
Do I gain the benefits of a long rest?
You get the benefits of a long rest, yes. He snores, though, so no one gets any benefit of a short rest from reading the rest.
I don't snore.
He blows puffs of smoke out.
Oh, that must have been
Not
the old
smoke.
man.
He does not breathe smoke. You would know that he breathes ice.
This is true. Well, then frost. Frost comes out of his nostrils.
Life.
Also, I lied. He does snore. He definitely snores.
I think we should get some rest and then decide what we want to do.
All right. I guess I'll. Do you guys need a room here at the Soul, or are you going to go to one of your inns?
Is there room for us at the Soul right now?
One of
These
your
children?
inns.
I mean, I'm sure we can find room if we look. I mean, you might need to share.
There's room on the floor. I mean, basically, they're not really rooms in the Soul. That they're all sleeping in the common room around the fireplace, the fire pit. That's where all the guests and the kids and the families and stuff are. But it reaches out into the street, and they have fires in the street and stuff too to give them warmth at night.
Vicky told me to keep a low profile, so perhaps I should go someplace where I'm not so much out in the open with everyone.
Yeah, I mean, we can afford. At least I can afford an inn.
I can now.
That's true.
Well, let's go stay at that inn that's by the stone. And we can ask around early in the morning, see if anyone's noticed anything.
Or in the afternoon.
Our afternoon is probably when we're going to be waking up.
Okay, so you head over to one of the. There's a lot of inns that wrap around the roundabout that is the town center, and you get into your rooms, and can I get a perception check from everyone that's sleeping there, or that's getting a room there?
14.
Okay.
That's probably not good enough.
7.
22.
8.
What were the numbers?
14.
I got a 22.
22. Brandon?
I'm at the Soul.
Oh, you're at the Soul. And Eslav?
8.
8. Okay. You hear king, king, king in the middle of the, late when it starts to get dark again. Or is it, actually it's early. When it's dark out, so it'll be late.
Huh?
And you have a window that kind of looks over the town square, and where the symbol had been marked with ash, you see somebody in a dark cloak, and you hear tink, king, 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 and you see his arm come back and come hard again.
Oh, Carradwin's mad. How far away is this guy?
Well, you'd have to go down through the inn, which opens on the other street facing away from the town center.
Yeah, she's gonna go.
Alone?
I'll take people with me.
Okay.
I'll go and pound on Bezran's door.
Yes. What's going on?
Come quick! There's someone vandalizing the stone again.
What?
Gotta get him! Come on!
Eslov.
Would I be in your room? So don't we have to like?
Yeah,
share
probably,
rooms?
yeah. So you both get up.
I just laid down. Actually, no, I wouldn't have laid down yet. I was preparing something. When you look in the room, you see me preparing a circle, and you interrupted my whatever I was preparing to do.
Okay.
I'll just put on my pants and grab my axe.
Okay.
And Morkant is having a lovely dream about fishing.
We'll get your dream at the beginning of next session, actually.
Nice.
Come on, before it gets away!
And you run down the stairs, bust through the door, run around the street, and as you're running, you realize you hear this sound of like stone being hit with something metal. You know, like if you took a sword and you whacked a piece of stone, that's what it sounds like. And you turn the corner, and you know the square is empty except one person up against the stone. And you see from behind, like, his hand come up, and you realize he has a hammer. And he's coming down, and every time he comes down, you hear, king, king. And you see him from the back. And it looks like he's trying to maybe cut something into the stone. And this is where we'll break.
Okay.
We'll continue next week with this.
I was just preparing to bring my familiar into the world for the first time.
You're never getting familiar to the world. It's pretty obvious now.
You got so close.
It's never coming in. You'll never get it. It's a foregone conclusion that you will be familiarless.
Whatever. I just every time Scaredwin comes in, come on, there's something happening. There's something else. There's really good food downstairs. What are you doing? Something.
Oh, that's so funny.
Thank you everybody for watching. Except those two bots that left messages in there. I'm gonna have to clean those out in a minute. Pisses me off. Hate those things. Yeah. Thank you, Kevin Friend, for following. That's terrific. We hope to see you next week.
Thank you, Kevin.
There may be a change to our schedule next week. We're discussing that. We may play earlier in the week because Saturday I'm driving to Austin. So we'll figure that out between now and then. And we will, on Twitter, I will announce whatever our change is going to be. Thank you, everybody. I'll talk to you later. Good night.
Thank you.
Night.